supply chains is nothing short of extraordinary. I want to start with a reflection on the remarkable strides in global health supply chains. We recognize the achievements and breakthroughs that have undoubtedly saved countless lives. From the development and distribution of life-saving vaccines to the efficient delivery of essential medicines, our journey has been marked by resilience, innovation, and continuous improvement. We clearly share the commitment to Sustainable Development Goal 3 and universal health coverage, where access to health products is a cornerstone. Access is achieved through an entire value chain, starting with research and development, regulatory affairs, and ending with patient or client care, but where strong health supply chains is at the center of ensuring access to medicines and health products. Regrettably, countries still grapple with challenges such as rising medication costs, frequent shortages, and the infiltration of substandard health products into global supply chain. The inequity in access to health commodities is a worrisome problem and has many components. Supply chain challenges in Africa has led to lack of access to essential medicines for non-communicable diseases like cancer, cardiovascular disease, chronic respiratory diseases, and diabetes, which contribute to 70% of the NCD burden in the African region, and is projected to surpass combined communicable maternal, neonatal, and nutritional diseases as the leading cause of death in sub-Saharan Africa by 2030. Emergencies are increasing in number, including climate-related emergencies. To be resilient, supply chains need to be strong. We need to take the lessons into account as we plan for a more resilient global capacity to respond to outbreaks and emergencies. The COVID-19 pandemic, a defining feature of recent years, underscored the urgency and importance of our work. COVID-19 highlighted the importance of supply chain visibility, resilience, supply diversification, and collaboration in ensuring timely and equitable access to life-saving medicines and health care. Looking ahead, our challenge as the community of global health supply chain practitioners and actors is to strengthen our supply chains for better preparedness so they are forward-looking and include these key elements of resilience, self-reliant, sustainable, and equitable. While exposing vulnerabilities in our supply chains, COVID-19 also showcased the incredible resilience and dedication of the global health community. Unprecedented collaboration between nations, organizations, and individuals ensured that personal protective equipment, testing supplies, and vaccines reached every corner of the globe. However, this response also shed light on existing gaps and disparities. The WHO Emergency Hub in Nairobi, Kenya, for example, addresses the pressing challenge of over 100 health emergencies annually in the African region. With a focus on preventing and controlling outbreaks, the Hub, a joint initiative with the Kenyan government, aims to strengthen preparedness and emergency response. While arrangement for the physical construction is underway, operations have already commenced, supporting multiple emergencies, including relief efforts for the Horn of Africa hunger crisis. To date, the WHO Regional Hub has successfully facilitated the delivery of essential emergency supplies to 43 countries with deliveries comprised of 200 shipments. Those supplies were critical in responding to a wide range of crises that pose considerable threats to public health, such as unprecedented global pandemic of COVID-19, outbreaks of cholera, civil unrest, cyclones, flooding, landslides, as well as the containment of deadly diseases such as Ebola, Marburg, and yellow fever, to name just a few. The hub's strategic location allows for swift coordination and delivery of life-saving supplies, aiming to reduce the current 20-day delivery time to 72 hours during emergencies. Serving the region, it aligns with WHO's flagship program to enhance health security and protect Africans from health emergencies by 2025, contributing to a more resilient and responsive healthcare infrastructure for the continent. Over the years, a series of World Health Assembly resolutions has been instrumental in shaping and fortifying global health supply chains, fostering a trajectory towards self-reliance. More recently, WHO Resolution 74.8 in 2021 addressed the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on global health supply chains, potentially outlining strategies to enhance resilience in the face of health emergencies. These resolutions collectively represent a cohesive and sequential approach, progressively guiding member states towards bolstering their self-reliance in global health supply chain, ensuring consistent access to vital health care products. To capitalize on current progress, continued efforts are needed to accelerate government's commitment and planning for the future, strengthen local and regional capacities, identify financing mechanisms that empower clients and incentivize private sector participants, and harness sustainable partnership across the public and private sectors. This year, we should explore the various forms of such self-reliance and the likely steps on the journey to their accomplishment, from cultivating an enabling environment through governance and innovative financing mechanisms, to supporting and scaling innovation and enabling local supplier development and regional manufacturing. Governance. As stewards of a nation's health and well-being, national governments need to be increasingly bold in addressing the challenges of sustainable and resilient supply networks. Governments will need to accelerate their embrace of private, nonprofit, civil society, and faith-based organizations as key players in the delivery of health products and services, and create a policy and regulatory environment that facilitates and incentivizes their participation. Related to self-reliance, there is a growing ecosystem of local and regional stakeholders that offer contextualized approaches for strengthening health supply chains. Those actors tend to be important collaborators and partners to help governments reach their universal health and SDGs. Furthermore, governments will need to address medium and long-term financing of healthcare delivery that facilitates the equitable delivery of products and services to all people, and that provides choice to clients and customers in selection of products and services. Data and digitalization. Data and digitalization are core to serving clients and supply chain transformation. Data plays a central role in next-generation health supply chains, which demand real-time data visibility as well as routine use of data to improve performance, increase transparency and accountability along the value chain, and to promote agility and resilience in response to health crises. Workforce development and supply chain professionalization. Digitalization must have the end goal of enabling better decision-making, reducing waste, and improving overall efficiency, which means important investments in professionalizing the supply chain workforce, building capacity and agency for data-driven decision-making, and streamlining processes. People are at the heart of resilient supply chains. Those health supply chain professionals need skills and knowledge to navigate complex global health challenges. Furthermore, resilient supply chains require more inclusive policies, strategies, and approaches. Promoting gender diversity in supply chain leadership positions can lead to more holistic and gender-sensitive approaches within supply chains. Regional and local production. Africa currently faces a severe dependence on imported medicines, with 70 to 95% of all drugs used on the continent being imported, while Africa contributes only 3% to global medicine production. This considerably exceeds those into China and India, where comparable populations import around 5% and 20% respectively. Local pharmaceutical manufacturing is vital for Africa's development. Effective drugs against HIV infections became available in 1996 in developed countries and led to drastic decrease in mortalities from AIDS. However, those drugs only became accessible in Africa about 7 years later in 2002. As a result of the delay, millions of Africans died needlessly. The African Union's initiative to establish the Africa Medicine Agency, AMA, must be fully supported as part of the new public health order. Addressing this issue, the World Health Assembly Resolution 74.6, co-sponsored by over 100 WHO member states, including 54 African countries, aims to strengthen local production of medicines and health technologies. The COVID-19 pandemic has underscored Africa's vulnerability in ensuring access to vital drugs, prompting a growing recognition among African governments of the need for secure, affordable medicines and vaccines as a national security concern. The resolution advocates aligning national and regional policies to enhance local production, emphasizing the importance of African market integration through platforms like the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Further, it calls for educational policies supporting research and development in pharmaceuticals and strengthening regulatory systems to ensure the highest quality standards in local manufacturing. This multifaceted approach seeks to build self-reliance, foster economic integration, and ensure sustainable access to essential healthcare products across the continent. Even as we think of regional and local production, we must design for equitable access to those essential medicines and vaccines, addressing challenges related to affordability, distribution, and last-mile delivery, and taking into consideration gender-sensitive approaches and the needs of marginalized, hard-to-reach, and remote communities. As there are greater investments in local and regional manufacturing capacity, we have to keep in mind the need for greener supply chains and building sustainable practices in health supply chains. By focusing on reducing environmental impact, promoting responsible sourcing, and minimizing waste, health supply chains contribute to global sustainability goals and ensure the long-term availability of resources. Access to high-quality medicines is a key priority for WHO and its member states. Since 2018, WHO has supported over 7,000 manufacturers, regulators, and stakeholders from over 70 countries worldwide in building their local manufacturing capacities. In Kenya, local manufacturing led by entities like Biovax serves as a cornerstone for ensuring access to essential medicines, medical equipment, and healthcare products. The commitment to self-sufficiency in healthcare, exemplified by producing high-quality vaccines and pharmaceuticals domestically, significantly reduces reliance on imports. This not only enhances the availability of affordable health solutions, but also strengthens Kenya's capacity to respond swiftly to health emergencies. The collaboration between Biovacs and other local manufacturers promotes job creation within the healthcare industry and underscores Kenya's dedication to achieving health security through self-reliance and sustainable healthcare solutions. And last, but definitely not least, on the topic of innovation. Through innovations, we not only improve performance and optimize supply chains, but also we tackle current and future challenges: order and inventory management, direct distribution to consumers, transport, warehousing and reverse logistics, product protection and visibility, and data analytics. Beyond manufacturing, there is a growing and vibrant supply chain market in many countries. Of these, nearly 50 companies across the African continent operate at the growth and mature stages, a positive signal of their readiness for partnerships and impact at larger scale. Governments are leading the way with partnerships, working with innovators of nearly 50 past and present partnerships to leverage tech-enabled supply chain solutions, including the governments of Nigeria, Rwanda, and Kenya. These partnerships require support to flourish, namely such as the de-risking through innovative trade financing solutions, government leadership in providing clarity on pathways for sustained partnerships, and structuring performance-based contracts. The Global Health Supply Chain Summit 2023 will explore these and many other issues through a combination of keynotes, panel discussions, and contributed talks. Like in the past, the conference will assemble a collection of experts that include government representatives, academics, NGOs, civil society, industry, donors, and multilateral representatives to explore those topics. Now, as we embark on the journey of self-reliance, ensuring access to affordable, safe, effective, and quality medicines, vaccines, diagnostics, and other technologies, governments can and should play a pivotal role. As countries take steps to build more resilience into their health supply chains, there is an opportunity for greater country-led supply chain stewardships towards greater self-reliance. With the support of WHO and other partners, fostering an enabling ecosystem involves providing an environment with policies and regulations to streamline approval processes, offering incentives for local production, and ensuring compliance with quality standards. Governments can also provide investment and funding through grants, tax incentives, or low-interest loans to encourage private sector participation in local manufacturing. Facilitating the exchange of knowledge and technology, building workforce capacity, and ensuring market access for local manufacturers are equally vital components of this transformative journey. In closing, I would like to thank the organizers of this timely summit. The deliberations here, I believe, will be a catalyst for coordinated efforts, collective actions, and partnerships within national and regional ecosystems to strengthen the global health supply chain. Together, we have the power to drive technology transfer and establish sustainable local production, paving the way for a future where self-reliance in healthcare is not just an aspiration, but a tangible reality. Let us commit to this transformative journey, ensuring that affordable, safe, and effective medicines and healthcare becomes accessible to every corner of the globe. As we embark on this collaborative endeavor, let our collective dedication be the driving force that propels us towards a world where health equity is not just a goal, but an undeniable reality for all. Allow me also, as I close, to remind you that WHO has developed a platform that it will pilot to report and monitor shortages. I encourage you to attend the WHO side meeting tomorrow to learn how to participate and, more importantly, to become part of a co-creation process. I thank you for your attention. Asante Insana.
Thank you so much, Dr. Diallo, for your wonderful remarks. Very comprehensive. In some ways, as you were speaking, we think of health as an outcome of economic development, but it's really circular. You can use development of health to actually trigger economic development in a nation, which is about the self-sufficiency, et cetera. So really appreciate your comprehensive remarks on this issue and look forward to the partnership.
It's my great pleasure to introduce you to His Excellency Tommy Njoki. He is the chairperson of the Council of Governors Health Committee. Governor Njoki is the second and the current governor of Tharaka Nithi County. He is also the chairman of the COG Health Committee. Before being elected governor, he served as the Chuka Igam Bombay member of the parliament from 2013 to 2017. Very passionate about entrepreneurship, where he has mentored many young people in business acumen. He enjoys outdoor games and has particular interest in rugby, which not only enjoys playing, but is also coached. So I think, as we can see, the idea of coaching is extremely important, right? It plays a very important role in leadership development. So I think that background that you bring to the table, as well as your entrepreneurship, passion for entrepreneurship, is something that we have been also talking about in this event, that global health supply chains is not just about the public sector, but the role of private sector in entrepreneurship. So I think this is very appropriate, and would like to welcome Governor Njoki to the podium and offer his welcoming remarks to our attendees at the Global Health Supply Chain Summit. Please give me a hand.
Thank you, Professor. I think I need to update my CV. As you can see, now all I can no longer coach rugby except on the screen. So that must have been a long time ago when I was a young man. Nevertheless, it's good that one to know that one time we did play. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen from all over the world that are here today this morning, the representatives of the international organizations, development partners, civil society reps, private sector actors, and because of time or the protocol that I cannot observe here today, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. I know the weather in this part of the country is not the usual weather we're used to, but we are a very warm part of Africa. Therefore, we pride in greetings and acknowledging each other. My name is Mugomi Njuki. I am here not on my own behalf as Mugomi Njuki, but I'm here on behalf of the Council of Governors. For those who are not familiar with Kenya, we have two levels of government. We have the national level, which coordinates the whole government, and we have devolved units, 47 of them in Kenya, and the 47 of them are governed by governors, and I happen to be in charge of one of those. But apart from that, we are coordinated by one council called the Council of Governors, which is normally managed by the Secretariat and the chair of the Council of Governors. then all the 14 devolved functions are usually represented by chair. And I was elected by the governors to represent health. This is my second year running. So when I speak here, I speak on behalf of the Council of Governors and on behalf of the Health Committee of the Council of Governors. Having said that, it is with great pleasure that I speak to you this morning. This summit provides us with a golden opportunity to join hands and reflect, learn, share, reimagine and redesign our supply chain systems to be efficient and effective. We need to listen to one another, ask ourselves what has worked and what has not worked, and use these insights to inform the path forward. In this light, let me take this opportunity on behalf of the Council of Governors and county governments here in Kenya to appreciate all of you for attending this very important summit. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenges facing our planet and our health are more complex than ever before. Climate change, environment degradation, and the emergence of new diseases are all issues that require urgent attention, and our disease profile has changed from a context where communicable diseases comprise the majority of priority diseases to a new norm where communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, and injury all pose a big strain to the health system. The already high prevalence of chronic lifelong conditions continues to increase. As we look at the future, it is clear that we must take a sustainable approach to public health if we are to create a healthier and more equitable world. County governments in Kenya have been at the forefront of promoting sustainable public health approaches in Kenya through different interventions. Our commitment to this cause is unwavering, and we have achieved significant milestones in promoting health and lifestyle, as well as ensuring our citizens have access to high quality health services. Ladies and gentlemen, achieving universal health coverage, which is now the biggest agenda of our current administration, remains a hallmark agenda for county governments in Kenya. We are committed to improve the well-being of Kenyans by ensuring that all citizens have access to high-quality health services where they need them, when they need them, and at a cost they can afford. Let me note that almost 40% of total health expenditure normally goes to medicine and other health supplies. This means that we cannot talk about universal health coverage without talking about supply chain. We all know that the availability of health products and technologies to the last mile remains a critical pillar to any good health system. COVID taught us that we cannot fully rely on global supply chains. As we need to foster local production of critical commodities. We also need to lower the overall cost of healthcare and make health more affordable to all. Even the most vulnerable among our communities, we will also need to get the supply chain right in those levels. I do not know about the other parts of Africa and the world, but COVID in Kenya, I would say, caught us in a very unfamiliar territory. The supply chain issues we've been having around health commodities in Kenya is because of the uncalculated moves we made in panic during COVID. That we still have commodities in our KEMSA that were bought at a prices that today cannot be able to be replenished because nobody is interested in buying any commodity in KEMSA that were related to COVID because of the prices that they were procured at. Why were they procured at high prices? Because of the emergency nature, because of unfamiliar commodities that we are all aware of. We are saying, and we had local manufacturing at that time. We would not have had bodysuits, face masks, and other related items, including some cubicles that were used for extraction of samples being overproduced outside the country and dumped in Kenya and other parts of Africa. So that is why we say the best way to go is local manufacturing. The county government will work with the national government, private sector, and other stakeholders to promote local production and distribution of essential medicine and other health products. At this point, let me note that working with partners like Global Fund, we are able to do an upgrading of most of the ecosystems. Recently, we upgraded oxygen systems or oxygen plants in 24 counties. This was realized through provision of supply of liquid oxygen and compressed oxygen in cylinders, supply installation of oxygen PSAs, plants, supply installation of liquid oxygen tanks, supply installation of piping, oxygen outlets and manifolds, supply of empty oxygen cylinders, and supply of oxygen accessories. These interventions are envisaged to increase survival rates for critical patients. Let me also note that some of our counties have also been working with private sector actors to foster distribution of network of emergency commodities like blood using drone technology, significantly increasing access to these commodities where we need them at minimum cost. And a very good example of this is Ghscs County, which has been using drones to supply essential commodities that are required as a way of emergency in far-flung rural parts of the county. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not possible for me to talk about building strong production and supply chain mechanism for health products and technologies in Kenya without mentioning Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, that is KEMSA. Despite all the challenges that KEMSA has faced, it has remained the first point of call for procurement of health products for most county governments. It is on this note that I note the county governments have been on the forefront of the call for the strengthened, accountable, efficient, and effective and transparent KEMSA. We do hope that this forum shall provide lessons and recommendations that will strengthen KEMSA and ensure effective, efficient services to county governments. Finally, the Council of Governors encouraged continued involvement and partnership with the national government, development partners, private sector actors, and other stakeholders in order to achieve Ghscs. County governments still remain fully committed to fulfilling the requirements provided in the Constitution of Kenya that guarantee all citizens the right to affordable and accessible quality health care. We have what it takes to positively transform the lives of our people, and let us all be selfless and give our best to our motherland. Thank you very much. That was on behalf of the Council of Governors. And allow me to now mention one or two things as Molomi Duki, and therefore don't hold the Council of Governors accountable to what I'm saying. Number one, and I say this with a very clear mindset, I was elected on a ticket of the ruling party in Kenya at the moment, so I pride myself as big in government. But even by being in government does not mean that I cannot see mistakes that our own government can make and advise accordingly. There has been a conversation around getting one supply chain, or rather one point of supply of commodities in Kenya by the government. I don't know how far that conversation has gone. Some of you are seated here know about it. And what that was an excuse of Ghscs being inefficient, inept, and unable to deliver services. I'm told by my teacher of English, when you want to kill a dog, you give it a bone. And therefore, Ghscs is where it is today, not because Ghscs was really neglected from inset. But I believe it must have been interference from outside, because when you give an organization a mandate to deliver, then you issue instructions from outside. Definitely they're not autonomous, they're not independent, and therefore it just stands to be another extended arm of the government of the day. So I have never known in my whole life in civil service where government has become more efficient in procurement, in supply chain management than an independent organization. I will therefore still continue advocating for Ghscs to be strengthened and be the vehicle for commodity supplies in Kenya and East Africa. If we go the other route of devolving or moving procurement to Ministry of Health, because I won't want to talk about health, then we will be setting ourselves to fail and in that area in Kenya. I will say that without any fear of contradiction. One of the biggest problems that we had in Ghscs is lack of capitalization to enable them to have last mile delivery to the counties and other private sectors. The refill rates for drugs has been around 40–50%, at most 60%. And this is because they could not meet the demand by the counties and demand by the private sector that require the drugs. Currently, I want to thank the government because I am reliably informed that Ghscs has been capitalized, not to the level that we want, and we hope that it will be supported to be able to up their game to refer rate of about 95%, which is the norm. The other issue I would like to mention is that the county governments in Kenya form 90% of the customer base for Kenya medical supplies agencies. Because for those who are not aware, health in Kenya is involved, and therefore is the mandate of the 47 counties. The national government is only in charge of 3 health facilities, and without fear of contradiction, let me mention it is Kenyatta National Hospital, Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, and Othaya branch of Kenyatta National Hospital. All the other facilities that are public are with the county governments. And therefore, you remove county governments from Ghscs, Ghscs will collapse. And that brings a begging question. Why is that by act of parliament have we removed county governments from management of Ghscs by giving them only one board member among the 9 that manage Ghscs? How is the voice of the county government and the board units going to be felt or heard in a board where they are represented, yet they form 90% of the customers? Those are conversations we should have around so that we will not be blaming counties for failed systems of supply chain when in actual fact they have no voice. We do not want to be part of the people who make the noise outside, because you know very well, if you're not part of the people who make the men, then you can easily be part of that men, and you know where you find yourself. So that is our ask as Council of Governors, that we should be more involved. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I will advocate for support of local manufacturing, not just in Kenya, but in Africa. We have companies in Kenya and in Africa that have capacity to produce quality commodities, just like the other companies out there in the first world. However, I am reliably informed by our manufacturers that they are not able to compete with the external manufacturers because of where they have been placed in the value chain in terms of supply. You cannot produce in Africa to stock. You can only produce to supply. So if you're not given the opportunity to supply, and then we go back and blame you for being unable to meet the demand, then there's a problem. To simplify this, I talked to a few suppliers who told me that when they produce less commodities in Kenya, the cost of production is very high. But the manufacturer out there, for example, in a country like C, which you can feel for yourself what C stands for. A country like I, you know what I stands for. They have an advantage of what we call numbers. When they produce more because they have the orders, then the cost of production goes low. They take advantage of numbers. When the Kenyan and Africa produce very few of the same, then the cost of production is very high. So can we, by act or parliament, by law, ring-fence the position of our local manufacturers so that they enjoy supplying locally, so that we don't over-depend on the external market up to a certain level. Even if we have to say up to this size in terms of quantities and the quality, it will be a great thing that we can be able to do for our people. Because I believe the brain of the manufacturer in Kenya, in Africa, and even the level of technology must be exactly the same out there. What is lacking is opportunity, and I believe it is doable. It is possible for us to do that. And that will ensure that we'll never again be caught pants down the way we were caught by the COVID-19. That is why we ended up importing, and we ended up having a lot of dumped commodities in our warehouses. With those few remarks, in the event that I've stepped on your toes, it was not intentional. I just had to speak my mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for those wonderful remarks, and especially towards the end, your comments regarding the need for a national organization that comes up to be independent, the board structure where customer organizations or customer companies are appropriately represented, and finally, to build regional manufacturing capacity, the need to match both the supply and demand side of the equation. It's not enough just to say supply at the efficient cost, but to have some commitments to demand such that it allows the regional manufacturing to climb the cost curve and supply more efficiently. So really appreciate some of those remarks. In fact, from the last two conferences, historically this conference has focused, when we said supply chain, mostly it was downstream supply chain coming from the central medical store or in-country supply chains. And we began to now explicitly explore the upstream supply chains. It's not just manufacturing, but all the components that need to go into manufacturing in a cost-effective manner. So we are, as an organization in this group, beginning to focus on that. So really appreciate your comments, and thank you for taking time to come and address this group here. Appreciate that very much. Thank you again.